Hey there, Nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Anarchy Road. Now, this one's a little bit different. As you guys can tell, this video does not usually fall on its usually Monday format, and the reason why is because this one is a video detailing a little bit more about the campaign information revolving around Season 2 of Anarchy Road. Now, a couple of questions I've been getting from a couple of my viewers actually is about the territories revolving around the Ashways campaign that we're doing with Cinderat Canyon. So as you can see here, we're on my desktop computer. As you can see, we also got my the really cool looking wallpaper we have here for the Ashways. So what we're gonna do in this video, we're gonna talk about the Ashways territories specifically. So as you can see, I got a Word document, a word processor document popped up here with a quick little table on it. And we're going to talk about exactly how we divvied up the Ashways territories in our campaign. So as you can see here, we have this neat little table. We're going to talk about exactly how I organized it, what we did to adjust some of the territories that you can get in the campaign, as well as some of the bonuses you get for both trading as well as raiding. And we'll talk about some of the unofficial trade routes that my gaming group and I came up with in order to add some more diversity to this campaign. So this video will be a little bit more of a deeper dive, and it's going to be talking about running an Ashways campaign specifically. If there is a specific part that you want to talk about, whether it's the unofficial or the official trade routes we created, I will put timestamps down in the description box below, so that way you can access it and look for the information that pertains to you. So with that being said, let's get this video on a roll. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about exactly how I organized the table that you see here. So all I basically did is I just made a quick little spreadsheet on a word processor and just started dividing up the territories. As you can see, I have a series of columns. The columns are quite simple. I first start out with a trade route, and then of course I put down the different trade routes that are available in the game. I then talk about the start point and end point for all the trade routes as well. I then make another column detailing the road sections that make up that trade route, as well as the income that each of these road sections provide a player. And then of course I added 3 more columns afterwards. First of all, I had the claim column, which talks about which specific faction actually owns that particular piece of territory and road section or trade route. I then provide the information about the trading bonus you get if you're a lawful gang, and also the raiding bonus in case you're an outlaw gang. So it's a pretty simple little spreadsheet here as well. The biggest part, of course, is going through the rulebook and finding out the different parts. Now, well, the reason why I did this was a couple reasons. One, as a campaign arbitrator, it actually made it very, very easy for me to keep track of all the various territories, and of course which gangs control them. And as you can see, I also did like a quick little color coding system as well. So for example, this turquoise color represents the Water Guild, which is the Water Guild outcast gang that's in this campaign setting. Purple being Van Sar. I have orange for the Ironhead Squat Prospectors, yellow for the Venators, green, light green for my gang, the Slave Ogrins. We also have this kind of light purple color for the House Cowder Outcasts, red for the Bad Zone Enforcers, and then of course we have this magenta color for the Helots and brown for the Ashways Nomads. So as you can see, the entire thing is kind of color coordinated as well. So the idea is supposed to be, as the road sections change hands and claimed by various factions, I highlight that row, and of course if they manage to secure an entire trade route, I highlight the entire row to show exactly what they would have, as well what their bonuses would be as well. And that's pretty much how I did that in order to organize this table to make it a little bit easier for me to keep track of territories for my campaign setting. After all, I am the arbitrator for my campaign, so keeping track of data like this is an extremely important aspect of actually being a campaign arbitrator. It helps your players out as well. Now, at the same time, this also kind of helps keeping your players honest as well. Now, in my gaming group, we just do this for fun, so there is no real high stakes involved with playing. We're just playing for fun, so cheating, of course, doesn't really happen, just because why would you do that when you're playing for fun? Now, unfortunately, of course, if you are playing with people that you don't know very well, or if you're playing in a larger setting where you have multiple players participating, sometimes the desire to cheat sometimes pops up every single once in a while. So this kind of helps you as a campaign arbitrator to keep your players honest, because then everything is out in the open. In fact, I actually email this list to my players so that way they can see exactly how everything is being tracked, so that way everything is open and full disclosed, and so that way you don't have to worry about any kind of shady dealings going on at the same time. So that's one way that you could actually organize your territories, kind of something like this. It's a really simple, real easy way to look at things. You can see where the trade routes are, where they start and end, and who controls what sections of it, and how much money they're making, etc. So that's one way that we go about organizing this. So that's about the that's pretty much how I organize the table, so that way you can use it for your future campaigns. If you like something like this, you can easily make this yourself. If you're a campaign arbitrator, it's really, really simple to track. All right, so aside from tracking data on the actual territories that are being used in our campaign, as you can see, this is an example of what I use to actually track my players' individual campaign data as well. And once again, just using a simple word processor, making some tables in that, so that way I can keep track of the specific data for each of our players. So for example, you can see on my title, Anarchy Road Season 2, our campaign schedule. As you can see, I have a table here because we use a round-robin format when we use for our campaign, so that way we know exactly who's playing who and at what time as well. Makes it a little bit easier to organize gameplay and also keep track of matches between my players as well. So that's one of the reasons why I like using that system. Now, unfortunately, it's not as flexible as just the traditional people just challenging one another, but at the same time, though, make sure that everyone gets the same amount of games in. It also makes it easier to track as well. It also helps with scheduling too, because my friends come into my house every once in a while in order to play their games. So it's a nice way of actually doing it. So as you can see, we have 10 gangs that are participating in our campaign, and this is actually after our very first week of play. So that's how it's ranked. As you can see, it's ranked based on exactly who's part of what game system during that time period. So as you can see, we have the Chainbreakers, which is my gang, the Jury, the Thunderous Profiteers. I have all of my friends on here as well with their names. We have their win records, their loss records, their total points, reputation, as well as their ratings as well. In fact, a little spoiler alert, Thunderous Profiteers right now is in the lead right now with 9 rep. We have their rating as well as their wealth characteristics being tracked. At the same time, I also track their triumphs, because in a Ash Waste campaign, of course, you have different triumphs, just like any campaign system. We have Roadmaster, which is the one who controls the most trade routes. As you can see, we have 2 right here so far. We also have the number, as far as the eye can see, who controls the most road sections right now. So you can see those are all listed here as well. The Road of Corpses Triumph, which is the number of fighters put out of enemy fighters put out of action. Keeping track on that one as well. The number of vehicles that you wreck for Let It Burn. And as well as Do You Know Who I Am, which is, of course, the reputation totals up to this point. So as you can see in our campaign, I keep track of all that stuff, so that way when that data comes to fruition at the end, I can also give your triumphs and assign it to the individual players as well. At the same time, as you can see here, because we're doing a round-robin format as well, as you can see, I also got all of our games laid out too, so that way we know exactly who's playing who in particular rounds. As you can see, we got it for the Season of Flame, the Changing Season, Season of Ash, as well as our Championship Battle as well. So that way there's no mystery involved of who's playing who at during what time, and it just makes it very open communication for my players. In fact, I email this to them every week after every campaign round, so that way they know exactly where everyone's standing up at and exactly what's going on. And because it's out in the open and this full disclosure, there's no like any accusations of people showing favoritism or cheating or whatever, because everyone's on the same page. And having that transparency is extremely important to have in a campaign setting. And anybody who's ever played as a dungeon master or a game master role-playing game knows you always want to make sure you have that full transparency with their players, so that way everyone's kind of on the same page and everyone kind of gets along. So this is an example of how I track campaign data for my players in our Anarchy Road Season 2 campaign. All right, so let's go back to the Ash Waste territories, specifically the trade routes. Now, if you guys remember from the Ash Waste rulebook, there's actually a series of trade routes that are legitimately, they're officially made by Games Workshop. We have Shadows Ridge, Spire Strait, The Beaten Path, Crater Run, Angel Run, Oil Slick Run, Dawn Run, Crooked Road, as well as the Ore Road. And these are all examples of specific trade routes that are available to players to compete for on the Ash Waste territories. Now, the problem that my friends and I ran into is that we realized that a lot of these trade routes were actually overlapping into one another. And that was a problem. For example, I believe, what is it? Is it Spire Strait? Yeah, so for example, Spire Strait and Shadow Ridge. These are 2 very different locations, right? And the problem that we ran into, for example, there we go. The problem is that like a couple of these trade routes intersect other trade routes, which means that like half the trade route might belong to one of the trade routes, or the other half belongs to another trade route. So the question becomes, if you own those road sections, who controls it? Do you mean you control one trade route completely and not the other one, or how does that work exactly? I'm not sure if Games Workshop was on a deadline of some sort, or if the guys didn't double check their work, or what the situation was, but that actually pops up quite a bit in the Ash Waste territories as well. At the same time, there's also other major locations on that Cinderak crater map that actually have no trade routes located to them at all. They have these road sections just kind of sit out there randomly, and there's no trade route for them either, which made it kind of weird. So because of that, my friends and I decided to actually adjust the campaign territories you can compete for by changing up the trade routes. Some of them we've actually shortened those trade routes to link 2 different major locations instead, and that's pretty much how we went about going about doing it. And then of course we just kept the trading and rank bonuses, some of the road sections as well as the income of those road sections the same. And then of course we just split it out to smaller trade sections, and then we also made unofficial ones where we actually link other major locations that didn't get support, and we made up our own rewards for those routes as well as for the trading bonuses as well as for the rating bonuses. So let's go and talk about exactly what we did to kind of change that up real fast. So first of all, for the Shadows Ridge trade route, we actually made the start and end sections between Iron Crag, which is one of the major locations, to the Ashstorm Observatory. It consists of the road sections Crater's Shadow, Grave Run, as well as a Storm Road. So that is one trade route by itself. As you can see, the Water Guild actually controls 2/3 of that route right now. If they can actually get this last one, they'll be able to secure that trade route. Now for the trading bonus, because the Water Guild is going to be an Outcast gang, they cannot actually secure the trading bonus because they're an outlaw gang, which is 3d6 times 10 credits every single time they use it. Instead, they'll get the rating bonus of 2d6 times 10 creds because they're an Outcast gang. Another major trade route, of course, we have the Spire Strait, which is between the Ashstorm Observatory to Cinderac City. So that way it's even that way. If I remember correctly, I believe the Shadow Ridge and the Spire Strait intersected together, so it made it very confusing about who actually controls which trade route because of that. So because of it, we decided to divide it between 3 trade road sections, the 5-ways, Clearway, as well as the flats. Right now, the Vansar gang controlled the Clearway, and if you manage to secure this one for your training bonus, you can hire a bounty hunter for free until the next campaign week. And your rating bonus, of course, is d6 times 10 credits. So that's an example of that route. Then for the beaten path, it's from the Rust Deeps, which is one of the locations, to Cinderac City. Consists of 4 road sections: the Baked Expanse, the Hilt, the Weird, as well as the Bullet Gate. As you can see, 3 of these territories are controlled by the Ironhead Prospectors right now from my friend Iron Major, and then of course the Venators control the Bullet Gate. But whoever controls this one, for their training bonus, they get 3d6 times 10 credits, and rating bonus is exactly the same. Now the Crater one, which is what my gang actually controls, which is my Slave Ogrins, the Chainbreakers. It's from Crater's Edge to Rush Deeps, so I own Croc Pass as well as the Deeps. It's 2 road sections. I have the cost of hiring hanger-ons if I have a trading bonus, but I'm an outlaw gang, so I can't get that one. Instead, I get 3d6 times 10 credits, and that's what I get for my training route, for my rating bonus. Another route that we have is Angel's Return, which is from the major city of Six Holes to Cinderac City. It consists of 3 sections: the Low Road, the High Road, and the Cogway. The Water Guild currently right now controls the High Road. The training bonus is 2d6 times 10 credits, and for the rating bonus, it's hire D3 Hive Scum for free until the next campaign week. So that's how we kind of shortened that route as well. The Oil Slick Run, which is controlled by the Venators, consists of Iron Crag to Witherwell, consists of the Twins Pass as well as Cracked Canyon. Right now, currently in possession of Section 8. They give you 5d6 times 10 credits for the trading bonus, so a very, very lucrative territory, or 4d6 times 10 credits for those who manage to capture it, if you're a raider. Then we have the Dawn Run, which goes from Ashstorm Observatory to the Spider Mines. You must control Iron Ridge and the Red Light Expanse. Nobody controls this territory currently, but if you do manage to secure it, for a trading bonus, you get 46 times 10 credits, or for a rating bonus, you get 5d6 times 10 credits. So another valuable piece of real estate right over here as well. Then we have the Crooked Road. It runs from Crater's Edge for its start point to Iron Crag. It consists of 4 road sections. That is Edge Road, the Shimmer Falls, Raider's Refuge, and the Night Passage. Now, 3 of these territories are actually controlled by my little sister, the Kiddo, with her House Cawdor Outcast gang. And 1 section is actually controlled by my friend, Sister Sarah, with her gang, the Babbo Zone Enforcers of the Main Force Patrol. Now, if you manage to get this one, the training bonus is permanently add a ganger to your roster for free every week, or if you're an outlaw, +1 reputation. And of course, we have the Ore Road, which I believe is the very last of the official ones. We have Spider Mines to Cinderac City. You must control the Ore Road and the Ore Pass. Currently, my little sister, the Kiddo, controls the Ore Road. You get -2 on the rarities for the trading posts for your trading bonuses, and if you're a raider, outlaw, you get 2d6 times 10 credits for your rating bonuses. Now, the rest of these are actually unofficial territories and unofficial trade routes. And the reason why we did that is because we noticed there's a lot of major routes, major locations that were not linked to any trade routes, which we thought was kind of weird because, like, the southeastern portion of the of the map, there's nothing really there. I mean, they have a bunch of major locations, but there's no major trade routes, which we thought was kind of strange. So we decided to fix that ourselves by linking major locations together and making up our own credits and our own rewards. So let's talk about these unofficial ones. So first of all, we have the Scrapway, which is located between the Dive as a starting point to Cinderak City. It consists of Tubeway 1 as well as Outcast Passage. The Vanstar gang currently control one of those territories. For a trade bonus, you get 2d6 times 10 credits, and for a rating bonus, you get 3d6 times 10 credits. So a very lucrative piece of trade route right there. Then we have Desperation Pass is another one we have, which consists of the starting point from Spine Ridge and links it to the Rust Deeps. You need to control the near reaches and the far reaches. And the Bad Zone Enforcers control one of them right now. If for a trading bonus, you get 3d6 times 10 credits. And as for a rating bonus, you have the cost of hiring hanger-ons. So pretty good, decent piece of real estate right there. Then we have Fang Road. Fang Road consists of the starting point of the Rust Deeps to the Brokebone Fighting Pits. It consists of 3 sections, which are Gark's End, the Beast Run, as well as the Chimeric's Cave. Once again, my friend Iron Major controls the Beast Run, while the Hellot Chaos Cultists of the Flesh Carnival control the Chimeric's Cave. Now, if you manage to secure this road, for a trading bonus, you can recruit 2 exotic beasts for free in the next campaign week, and if you're a raider for an outlaw, you can create a brute for free until the next campaign week, and that's an example of what happens if you get that one. Then we have Slaver's Way, which is another unofficial route that we made. It's between the Brokebone Fighting Pits to Cinderak City. It consists of Blades Cut as well as Klasmar Choice. The Nomads control Klasmar's Choice. If you are for a trading bonus, you get +1 reputation to your gang every campaign week, and if you're doing a rating bonus, you permanently add a ganger to your roster for free. So another really cool one there. And lastly, we have Merc Highway, which is linking the Brokebone Fighting Pits to the Spider Mines. It consists of 2 sections. We have Freedom Passage as well as Hellot's Path. I control the Freedom Passage, while my friend controls the Hellot Chaos Cultists control the Hellot's Path. And if for a trading bonus, you get plus D3 Hive Scum for free until the next campaign week. And the exact thing happens for the raid bonus as well, because it's Merc Highway. There's mercenaries known to frequent that territory. So that's an example, you guys, of how we actually changed up the Ashwaste territories in our campaign. We took the official ones and made them into specific, clear, single choices where none of these road sections actually run over one another. They're all separated, so that way it makes it a little bit easier to keep track of. At the same time, we also added some more trade routes as well to cover a much larger area of the map. And I do believe our rewards are actually quite good. They're quite reasonable. They're mainly based on the territory bonuses you get from the official ones, what we mainly did for those. So I think it's pretty well balanced depending on what territories you're going after. So that's an example of how we set up our campaign's territories to help out my gaming group to make it a little bit easier to understand where the routes are going and exactly to be very clear what the rewards are. Now, if you think this is a cool system, if you want to adopt it, by all means, feel free to do so. This is not official in any way. We just did this on our own, so, more power to you. And if you don't like it, well, you don't have to use it if you don't want to. So we're just something that we're just doing ourselves. I know a lot of players were asking, especially a lot of people who are aspiring to be campaign arbitrators, on how we handle the territories in our campaign, and this is how I did it for my gaming group. And this is something that we all agree on. In fact, when the campaign started and we actually had a little sit down for a meeting, I actually went over this with my players, told them exactly how we're going to go through this, and they really liked the explanation of it. They thought it was a good choice, and so we all decided to go for it. And that is where we currently are now. So there you guys have it. This is how you guys set up your Ashwaste territories for your campaigns. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this week, guys. We will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.